Hello, everybody. Welcome to Conscious Conversations. Hi, Alexandria.
Hi, Darin.
How are you? So now this is going to be episode 6,
Yeah.
and moving right along. Hope everyone is enjoying and not only enjoying but expanding.
Yeah.
With your consciousness, your awareness to what we're bringing through, and hopefully you're having fun at the same time. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, comment, share, like both of our channels, and share them out, man. Share these videos out. So yeah, how are you doing?
I'm feeling pretty fabulous. I took myself on a retreat this weekend, and so it was really like a fill your cup. And so we were in this beautiful, beautiful home on the water, St. Lawrence River, and there was nine of us there, eight one day, and then we were joined by another, and it was all other spiritual teachers and each masters in their own right, and it was wonderful. And so the intention of it was a water blessing ceremony because we were right on the water, and just so I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about that and just how just ways of sort of giving back our spirituality and extending it out to the world. So we connected with the Kuan Yin, who is, the goddess Kuan Yin, who represents water, and just sort of her element. And we had some really wonderful things happen. We had swans coming while we were like in ceremony,
Oh
and we
wow.
had an eagle flew overhead, and but it was just really like everybody just came, and it was just women, and we had beautifully prepared food, which was just like very artistically designed for us by our hosts. And so we did like breath work, we did chakra dance, we did we danced under it was a full moon, so we were dancing under the full moon, and then we are up at the crack of dawn to watch the sun come up over the St. Lawrence River. And it was really, really wonderful, and just really just experiencing just being together, and just sharing whatever our skills and habits, or skills and talents rather. So we had some people doing light language, and other people were doing tarot readings, and it was just a
Oh, that's
beautiful
so
coming
cool.
together. Yeah,
Wow.
it was really, really wonderful. And from like Friday till I got home at like, I guess after supper on Sunday. So it was like really an immersion, and a beautiful space, and very private, and just doing what you want. So it was very, very nice, and it was really wonderful. But the purpose of it, as I say, was to really to honor the water. So if you think of Gaia, a mother, as the earth as our mother, um, then the water that runs through her and all around her as Earth's blood, and water is so powerful. And I think we haven't really talked about it, but um, Dr. Emoto, Dr. Emoto, who did tests with the with water, and he froze it, and how it would freeze into like snowflakes. And if he labeled them with things like hate and anger, they were very distorted.
Oh
But
yeah,
if you
yeah.
put the words like love and harmony, then they were like beautiful snowflakes. And so I think that really sort of established how water is like a conscious being in its own right, and it holds our energies, it holds our memories, our intentions. So yeah, so it might be fun to talk about water, because I have a few different ideas about that I would like to share,
I
actually,
have
that people
something
can
that
use
just
in their
came.
daily life.
Oh, 100%. It's so funny that you said that because it just connected to me with, it's not only the water though, because it connected to me with what has been happening to me the last few weeks with the words that I've been using. And
Yes.
how you just said with him putting certain words on the glass water, and then how it would change.
Yeah.
And I was reminded by someone, another master, uh, this week. She mentioned to me after or before we did a session together. She reminded me of it was we were actually having a conversation, and she said, "Do you realize there's this word that you're using, and I'm getting this. this feeling that that word is creating the headaches that you're experiencing.
Wow.
And I never realized that how often I actually use this phrase. And it makes so much sense when you actually really think about it, how it's expanding the blood vessels in my brain just by saying the word, because my mind doesn't know any different, just like the water doesn't know any different, you know? And so it's like if we actually, so it's so funny that the conversation I had with this other master earlier that we were channeling together with, and I caught myself a few different times and stopped my, actually just paused. And she said, you know what's so funny that you're pausing? Because she goes, I meet with this group of friends every Sunday and we eat, you know, right away when someone pauses that they're catching themselves from a word that they were going to use.
Isn't that great that we
And then
can?
they're all, yeah, and then they're altering the word and saying, no, wait a minute, I don't want to use that. I'm going to use the word amazing instead of the other word. Or you, and it's it's starting to happen so much more frequently. I'm
Isn't that
noticing.
so great?
Yeah.
And then to really reward yourself rather than so I think a lot of people might kind of berate themselves a little bit like, damn
Mhm.
it, I did it again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think every time you catch yourself, if you're like, wow, awesome, great job. Like you're really, you got this, like
Yeah.
not you're getting this, but you got this and you're doing so great, and yeah, because we are speaking our lives into being. And so, like when you talk about the power of putting those words with water, I really would, something I've been doing for years now that I would really advocate for people to give it a try. I have a separate jug that I keep my water in,
Mhm.
and it's on a selenite charging thing. There's my cat joining in the background. And then I have like, just plastic magnetic sort of strips on it, like love and power and,
Oh, that's
you
cool. I
know,
didn't even think about doing that. I haven't
and
thought
I
of that.
Reiki it, like because I'm a Reiki, I Reiki my water. And so as I'm drinking it, and so I brought back actually from this weekend, we did some blessed water. We called on Kuan Yin and we did like blessing ceremony and we each took home some of the water and just to add a few drops, into our own drinking water every day. And then we're just really, because it will hold those intentions. The water does. It's really pretty magical. And when you think about it, like, we're so much water, we're like 70 to 80% water. So we're that responsive to, we're equally responsive to words and intentions. And like no one ever criticized themselves into doing better. Like the only way to be, if we want to achieve a goal or something like that, I really feel it's like to encourage and to reward ourselves for every step that we take, but not to sit back and criticize ourselves for not being there already, because we've had that all our lives. If that's all it took to achieve our goals, we'd all be there already. I think it's much easier because of how we've been raised, programmed to be critical, self-critical. So then it's a little more challenging maybe to bring that self-love. It's so much more rewarding and so much more pleasant to just like, I love you, you're perfect exactly as you are. And let's, how great that you're doing this, or you're taking the time to drink your water, or to put your intentions around your water, and just to be respectful and loving of like water is a huge part of our lives. And it's susceptible to negativity, it's susceptible to pollution. So but it receives that love, just like we give it back to the earth, we give it to the water. And think of that when we're cooking with water, or whether we're showering, or we're swimming. And oh, Darren, I did my first cold dip
Oh my
this
God, you
weekend.
did one
I
too?
I did. Oh,
Dang, there
did
was
you?
somebody, no, there was somebody on the Sunday call, the Wisdom Sunday.
Yeah.
Her
I
name's
was yeah.
Gwendolyn, and she was talking about it. She goes, I did my first cold plunge, and her friend had a cold plunge like thing. And I was just talking about that this morning with someone I was talking with earlier before me and you met up to record this episode. And
Yeah.
and she did it with Joe Dispenza, and not the woman yesterday, but it's wow, that's so crazy that you did that too.
Yeah, yeah. And now I don't know how regular I'm going to make it, but I did like we did a lot of breath work beforehand, and I thought even that is really beneficial, but it was freaking cold. And so
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
like I didn't stay in long, but several other people on the retreat were like just having a great time in the water and just like holding, the energy and
So was this like a
holding
tub or something?
love and sending it into the water. Hmm?
Was this a tub or
Sorry?
something? Like, was this a cold plunge tub or you?
No, it was the St. Lawrence River.
Oh,
We were in
okay.
the St. Lawrence River, yeah.
Oh,
And
so how?
it was cold, and it was cold outside, and it was cold in the water, and
Wow,
then we went into a sauna, and then we went into the hot tub. So
that is
I
so
like the hot tub
powerful.
much better. I did stay in
Oh,
there much longer.
I'm sure you do. I mean, but the benefits of the cold plunge is beyond, you know,
Well,
uh,
I can say I did it now instead of like I
yeah.
was like, oh, I kind of want to, but I don't want to do it because I don't like being cold, but I kind of want to because they're having so much fun. And I was like, and I thought, well, this is the weekend. We're honoring water, we're honoring ourselves, and being together and everything. So I thought, yep, I'm gonna do it. And
Wow,
yeah,
congratulations. That's awesome. I mean,
yeah, thank you, thank you.
speaking of what you were saying, it's like now I didn't even think about that, but like I'm gonna start like I'm gonna type up some words and then tape it on the bottle, and then
Yeah,
put it on the bottle. And it really goes back to the weight that words have,
it's so
and
true. They're so
yeah,
powerful. Yeah.
I um man, I mean it just amazes me the if you really, really sit down, you really, really record yourself as to the things that are coming out of your mouth and what you're actually limiting yourself to, and or drawing into your life, or maybe like your health. It's just like you said about speaking it to the water, but then we're speaking it to our bodies, and saying, um, I want to give this example, and I hate to
This is the
say
one
it.
you keep hearing. This one likes to talk. This is Callie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
I want to give this example, but I don't really want to use the word, but I'm going to use it for these purposes. And like two things. Like I was observing um when I was going to this physical therapy place, and the guy didn't look that old. He was very he seemed to be pretty, vibrant, let's just say. And I'm sitting there and I'm observing everything and I'm watching him, and all of a sudden I observe him telling the person at the front counter, well, you know what, he used the word, my hip is like garbage or trash. Tell the
Oh,
tell the insurance that, so that I can continue to get insurance, or whatever. And I sat there and I'm like, wow, I'm like, oh my God, like, does he realize what he's actually speaking into existence? And
yeah,
um why he's there and why he keeps coming back every week and going there and dealing with whatever he's dealing with.
yeah,
And
yeah.
just by saying it, it's like I don't think people actually realize, I don't think it's widespread enough yet that people actually realize the words that are coming out of their mouth and how powerful they
Well, and that's what we're doing with this
are.
program, right? This
Yeah,
is what we're doing is bringing this to people's awareness so they can
yeah,
really recognize and stop saying the things that are keeping them, like even people who are like even and the spiritual, community is certainly not exempt from that because how often you hear people like, I'm
yeah,
stuck. And they
yeah,
keep
yeah, true.
affirming that.
Yeah, yeah,
They're affirmations. So
yeah.
why not say, I love my progress I'm making, or I love how I'm living life and or something, whatever the opposite of
Like
what
we
it
were
is that
talking
you're
about last week.
complaining about.
Like you said about that, where we would speak, we didn't do it this time, but remember you were talking about that thing that I learned also from Kyle Cease, where you speak about
Yeah,
yourself as if it's now,
yeah, yeah.
but you're a year from now, like. And
Or
oh,
5 or 10.
yeah, I'm in front of Madison Square Garden in front of millions of people, but you know what I always thought of.
I like to do, sorry, but just while you're saying that we're talking about 5 or 10 years, but I like to do it like now, like you're speaking about it. I just wanted to clarify as if it's already happened.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Not,
yeah,
not like if I'm
yes.
going to do this in 10 years. It's
No,
like,
no,
well, I did
no.
this yesterday and it was freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, no, no, it's right now. Yeah, like as
Yeah.
if it already happened. Yeah. And But you know what's really interesting? A lot of us, well, my generation, I feel like your generation as well, when you were growing up, it was not, you're not going to sit there in your friend group and tell them, oh yeah, I love doing homework and I love showing up to school and I love, you know,
Yeah.
you spoke about the negative things. The negative things are what made you have friends. You know, like, oh, I'm going to
Yeah,
do,
kind of
it was the opposite.
like hate my parents, or hate my
Yeah,
teacher, or hate
exactly.
school,
Yes.
or,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
always spoke these things like that, you know, then you would have the friends, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat
yeah.
this kid up or whatever, things like that, you know, versus like, yeah, I'm gonna go over and tell them they're amazing and they do wonderful things. And you know, like it's like that was like the complete opposite of what we were
Oh
taught.
yeah, you'd be like, oh, teacher's pet or brown
Yeah,
noser, or
yeah,
and even like from a purely self-esteem issue, like, and I'm sure we'd have commonality here, but maybe probably different because our genders. But like I can remember, like, if a girl was overly confident, like it would be like, who does she think she is? And she thinks she's so great, and
yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
you would really deliberately downplay, and even, what are you so happy about? Like people would be
yeah,
really snarky and miserable with you
yeah.
if you were like shining. And we were taught this, and it gets so ingrained that it's really something to, once you become aware of it, and you can realize how you were holding yourself back based on sort of the expectations of the collective,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but now we realize that we really need to set ourselves free from that. And it's also been shoved down our throat with all the media, and not even that expression. We've been kind of inundated with
Yes.
negative imagery, and portrayed like in the ads, in the magazines, and everything else is like,
Yes.
if you're not like in your 20s, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever the current most acceptable body type is, or whatever, then you better work on that because you're obviously subpar, like.
Mm-hmm.
So, but even that has changed so much over the years. It's like we can't conform to a social norm, that we have to be who we are. We can
Yes.
strive for excellence, our personal excellence. And I really feel the only one we should be competing with, and even that, like, is ourselves. But just like okay, maybe where do I want to be based on where I am, but with so much love, like you can still strive to make changes in your body. Like if you want to be maybe more fit, then you can certainly make that a goal, but in the most loving way. Like, I really want to serve my body, I really want to give my body the best food and the best water, and be active, and because I love my body, this vessel that's carried me throughout my whole life. So it's just really comes back to bringing that love to everything, to when you're drinking your water, like, thank you for nourishing me and keeping me healthy and strong, like bringing that intention. It's such, we have all this power, and we haven't really been using it, I think, most of us. And
100%. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, funny you say that too, because my dad, before he passed, someone told him too that he had the ability to speak to water. You know, that was one of his abilities that were coming through strong, but he didn't believe it, you know, and I kept telling him, why don't you just speak these things to the water, you know, before you drink it, you know, and it's listening, you know. And I even found this woman that was actually creating these water healing water uh type of things that you listen to, subliminal things that, and she would
Mm.
let them run all day and she would create them. They were being downloaded and then she would create them and then she would play them in her house with these fountains going, and the fountains would actually listen and take in the water, and then she would reprogram the water, so to speak, you know, um, which I thought was really interesting, you know. So
Thanks.
it's, yeah, I mean, our water's even programmable, you know, it's just like,
It totally is, and it wants to support us. And
yeah,
and when you think about it, like, that's where we came from, like it's so part of us. So it's just bringing that love. And I think as we come back into the understanding that we are all connected, we're connected with the earth, and with water and the air, and we have all that. all those elements within us, and to take the time to honor that, we're going to see the changes in our body.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and from a purely sort of, so one woman shared with us on the retreat, and she came and she had lost like 40 pounds, and she looked, you know, really phenomenal. And so we were kind of like, well, what have you done since like the last retreat kind of thing? So over the course of the year, like, what have you done differently? And she said, I just started, you know, I put the blessed water. She just took it because we all each came with like a little jar of water that we had blessed together and asked for the blessings of the water and everything. So she was adding that to her drinking water every day, and she was picturing her crystalline body and just being grateful for this, for her divine, beautiful body, healthy and happy and all of that, and just adding a couple of drops to it. And she said, really, honestly, I didn't do anything else different. But
Wow.
other than the intention, also wanting to release anything that no longer served her and wanting to release the heaviness, like emotional heaviness and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And it resulted in helping her acquire the physical body that she had, you know, been wanting. So it was like, wow. So it really just, it's magical, you know. It really, so you can program it, you can program it to help you sleep, you know, or help
Mhm.
you be your most, you know, your most happiest person, like whatever you want to put in there. Like I just usually put like love and creativity, those kinds of words around mine. But why
That's
not play with it? Like play with
oh
it, have
yeah,
fun.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I think I'm definitely gonna I learned something huge from this, even though like I already was aware, but yeah, this really enlightened me, let's just say, because yeah, it's why not? I have these, phrases that I put all over the place, like every day in every way I'm healthier and stronger. It's like you can put these things around your water,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And
And
make like a little bit of a shrine.
yeah,
You know, like give it a place of honor. Like this is how you're nurturing your body. Like as
yeah,
everybody knows, you know,
yeah,
we can go without food for a number of days. How
yeah,
long can you go without water?
yeah.
So it's essential to us. So why not like really honor it, and like just by giving it, you know, maybe put some crystals around it. There's crystals you can put in your drinking water. The same as you can use, this isn't going to be a call really about crystals, but you can add it to your bath water, you know, you can add it to your, but there's, like I have carnelian in mine right now, and often like rose quartz. Now there's some you don't want to put in there because they're just going to melt away. So make sure, and some of them are maybe toxic to drink. So, you know, do your due diligence before you start drinking crystal water. But yeah, it's
I love that. I love that. I mean, this is the new, yeah, I feel like this, yeah, this is all like it's all shifting. Like this is, we're becoming more and more aware of how powerful we are. And and this is one of the biggest aspects of that, I
and
love it.
it's how we affect real change too. So
Yeah, yeah,
if you're like, a lot of people are very concerned about, you know, the ecology, and I certainly understand that too, but rather than maybe, and take steps where you can, but rather than just kind of bemoaning about the amount of pollution in the water, picture that water beautiful and clean and pure, and send that intention to all the waters of the earth. You know, not just where you happen to live, but everything's interconnected, either through like surface water or underground water. You know, it's all connected. So we can send that love, and it gets soaked up by the water. It loves it. The water appreciates that. We all felt that, just, you know, the love being returned to us. And you know, like we were all of that mindset, because that weekend, that was the purpose of the retreat, was to do that. And so we each came away with some water that we're going to add to different bodies of water, this blessed water to add to that, and then to our own bodies as well.
how did it feel to um dip in the do the cold plunge?
Mostly felt cold and I wanted to get my butt out of there as quick as I could. But I took in more from just appreciating, like it was, even though it was very cold, that the river wasn't frozen, so we could enjoy like, and it's very big river, so it's St. Lawrence. So you could hear the lapping, and we were watching the waves and watching the sun rise and watching the moon on the water and the sparkling and everything. So I felt the power of the water more there. When I was in it, I mostly just felt really cold. So I did. So I just, I did a very quick dip, but I may work my way up to it, or I may just go, okay, that was good.
It definitely, I mean, when
Undecided.
I've done it, I mean, I feel invigorated. I feel, um, my body vibrates. I mean, I feel, yeah, I don't, I mean, not to say that I'm like, I'm, I'm, I'm not cold, of course, but, the after effect, I feel definitely invigorated and just like this newness about it of how I feel, Um, I don't know, it's just something about
Well,
it.
yeah, everybody was saying that, and that's part of why I wanted to experience it too. Now on a physical level, I
Yeah.
must be honest and say I did feel it was stressing my body, and I felt like I was feeling it around my heart, and my intuition said, get out of here,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and I'd always kind of felt like, and maybe this was because I'd entertained the self-talk, and I'd said to, because there's a spa not far from here where it's very popular. They do go in the cold water and then they go into the hot tub and kind of like, so it's that contrast.
Mm.
And my first thought was like, that sounds like a recipe for a heart attack to me, so maybe I've just had that limiting belief, and then I have to work through that before I do it again.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not saying, but also I just feel like, because we've talked about intuition, and my whole everything was saying, get out.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
wasn't just because of the cold, but I just felt like my safety was an issue, and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
about to risk that. So I got myself out
No,
of there.
no, of course. I mean, you got to
But for a
listen to
first
that.
try, it was awesome.
Yeah, you have to listen to that, of course, because maybe it just wasn't the right setting for you, or whatever, or the right timing or whatever. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
And maybe I think you need to work up to it and have everything like ready when you get out too, like to have like a
yeah,
big long robe to get into,
yeah,
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, um, so I think there's different ways of doing things, but I tend to just jump into things and like freezing water.
And especially like have someone around that is,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I would say, and don't do it alone,
yeah,
because
like, yeah, like
people
they
do
know.
go
Yeah,
into, like
yeah.
there is I don't know the percentage of the risk. I don't want to say anything because I'm not well aware, but the people was with were very experienced,
That's what I
and
meant, the experience. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so I felt like I was in good hands. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a level of it, especially if you've never done it before, that for guidance and to help you do the breathing and everything, and I really, it was so cool to hear Gwendolyn talk about, um, that there's places you can go that do cold plunging. I didn't know that. I don't know if there's any around here where I am. I'm gonna definitely look for it.
oh,
But she said there's places like facilities, I guess wherever I think she's near Lake Tahoe or I think. And
and there's groups too.
yeah,
Like
and
just
then yeah,
Google it,
yeah, and then
your
that's what I'm
area.
definitely gonna do. Yeah. And she also mentioned, which I didn't know this, like I think Switzerland or places like in overseas, they have them all over, like in hotels and everything. I'm like, wow, that's like really gyms even. I think she mentioned that her friend's gym. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like some even like they have like just like they have the saunas um
Yeah.
and the steam rooms, they have cold plunges in the gyms. And I'm like, that'd be nice if the gym I go to had that. So yeah,
It might
start.
be easier if you could get into it right away. So because it was a river, we had to like walk
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah.
And like, so if I could just kind of go down the stairs and be in it, like I might try it. I have an outdoor pool, and I might, work up to it that way and like be
Yeah,
right into it.
yeah.
But I don't know if it was better or worse to be gradual. I kind of think maybe it was worse. It was just harder. So I'm
No, it
not.
is. I think it is. I used to do that when I was in Florida and go in the pools and everything, and you gradually do it versus like going in. And I see people that are doing it, and I've done it, and yeah, you have to just go right in. You just go right in, and then it's like come right to the breath, because the breath is what, well,
Yeah.
and then every one of them I see. because again, I've never done the cold plunge. I've done the ice cold showers. And um and I definitely 100% say that everybody I've seen and watched, um they go right in, and then it's like the breath. And the same thing when I do the cold ice cold showers, like right to the, you have to go right to the breath, because that's, and then every one of them, they just sit in there like it's a hot tub afterwards, because now your body just kind of completely adjusts to it.
Yeah,
Then it
yeah,
becomes,
it's
it
true.
actually feels really good. So it's like it's a certain amount of time. There's a time period where you get, once you surpass that, it's,
I think it's like 2 minutes or
yeah,
something. I think they were saying something like that.
yeah,
Don't quote me. I might be mistaken, but
yeah.
yeah, I noticed that with like cleaning my. It's funny to sound like, but I have a great big fish tank, and it's 40 gallon, and goes right up to like halfway up my arm. So when I'm cleaning it and stuff, like it starts off cold. The goldfish, they don't mind being cold, so it's like pretty cold. But then it's not, my arm gets used to it, kind of goes numb, and it's like, well, this isn't cold at all. But at first it's like, what frig, it's cold,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I may try it again. I'm just kind of still coasting on, I did it. I don't know if I want to do it again, but I did it.
Yeah,
So
good for you though. I mean,
yeah,
that's a
all
huge,
about new experiences
yeah,
too, right? And breaking through
exactly.
barriers. Like I did it
Yeah.
and I didn't die.
No,
You know.
exactly. It was an experience, and that's something to be proud of, Not everybody,
Yeah,
there's
I
very,
am.
yeah, it's a very small percentage that even would even, but it's so cool to hear like someone talk about it yesterday, and then you're talking about it, and you did it, and they did it, and how it's becoming something that's normal.
Like mainstream,
Yeah,
yeah.
mainstream. I mean, that is so awesome to hear.
Well, here, let me brag a little bit about. So here, I live near Kingston. I formerly lived in Kingston, Ontario, and they did the largest. They had the newspaper out and everything for the most people to do a cold plunge, um, on that day or whatever. I should. I wasn't planning on talking about this, or I would have had all my information. I think they had like 50. There may have been more. I'll have to let you know in the future. I'll post it in the comments just to verify, and maybe put in a link to what the newspaper did. But they were great. They were singing. The local group. They'll do dress up where they're all like, wearing like funny hats or whatever. And then there's like this. It's just like a real party atmosphere. They do their dip, and then
Oh,
and it's yeah.
oh,
So
that's
it's
so cool. That is a really cool event. I mean, yeah, that's really, yeah, I love that. I mean, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I will put, I will look, I'll source that out and I'll put it up, that link in the comments for people who are interested in to see more about that. But
yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah, but the whole thing is just like, yeah, just to bring that awareness, and let the power of your thoughts work with the power of water to work for you to help you achieve what you want in your health and wellness and your goals and whatever, your life in general. So I think that's
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be
uh,
good for us to touch on in future episodes on words and how much weight they hold. And I think we just
yeah.
barely even touched the surface and in it now. And I feel like just in some of the words that are being used and phrases among the young people and everything else is definitely
Well,
something.
even if I might say, like one that I don't know when did sick become a compliment? Like, like the teenager, oh, that's sick.
I was going to
Like
say
it's a
another
good
one for you
thing.
too. I
And
know.
and it just like but you're saying, so you're
Yes.
kind of like being sick is good. It's like,
It wasn't when I grew up. It was later on, maybe when I was in my 20s. But you know what? Another one I was just going to mention to you, and you hear it all over YouTube. And now, like a lot of the rappers and hip hop artists use it. I'm dead.
uh,
And you've heard that, right?
I
Have you
haven't. No,
Oh yeah,
no.
that's one of them that they, and I actually was talking to someone, and I looked it
There
up.
is no death anyway. So
No, but I looked, but still, regardless, I looked up
yeah, it's not.
what the, um, hold on, I have to just say it here because we're talking about it right now. So I want to just read you just the, okay, so it's a slang. I'm dead is used to convey a strong emotional reaction, typically in response to something funny, shocking, surprising, or absurd. Okay. So you say that and it's like the opposite, like of like fun, something funny.
Yeah.
Like
Or
I'm
how
just like,
many like kill me now,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
like, really? Is that what you want to put out there? Like,
yeah,
your
and I'm like,
neighbors is listening, you
yeah,
know?
and I'm like, holy cow! Like, yeah, now that you mention it, I remember that word, and or even like people will use it in a sense like my kids make me sick,
Yeah, I'm
you know,
sick of
and
this.
then
I'm sick of this.
yeah,
I'm tired, sick
yeah,
and tired. And it's like, and people don't really make that connection, but you're programming yourself
yes,
and telling yourself you're sick, you're tired, you're
yeah.
old, whatever, but I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. And then they wonder why they actually
And
become.
then you end up with something like, and you're like, you don't know why you end up with something days later. You end up
Yeah.
feeling that way because you actually, and Louise Hayes was huge on that. I mean, a lot of her
Yeah.
content, her books were all about speaking positive things towards your vehicle before you get into it, sending it,
Yeah. Everything's energy.
all of
Everything
that, yeah,
responds.
all of it, just like water, like speaking about upon your water. And then we're like, oh man, I don't know why I feel like this, like days later, and then you don't even realize what you were saying up to leading up to that point because it's become such a habit, you know. And yeah, those are just a couple of them, like some of what you just said. I forgot all about those.
And
And
people tend to, well, we're like be that critical because be critical of themselves because it makes them feel like they're part of the community more, like they're who they're
yeah, yeah,
talking to, they're
yeah.
bonding,
Yeah,
and
you
they
get
can be like
accepted. Yeah,
critical of their partners also,
yeah,
like who's got the worst partner,
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
we're
true.
so much more telepathic than we are aware of, and I don't think there's anything that we're if you're saying stuff like that, the other people they know they don't have to be in the room or even in the house or anything else, they're going to pick up on it because we're telepathic so much more than we recognize. And you can only lie to somebody for so long about things. It comes to now they may be in denial and they might, not pay attention to it, but you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
that like you can't, you might think you're bad mouthing somebody behind their back and you're sweet to their face and you might think you're getting away with it, but they know they might be like, okay, well, I know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
exactly.
say it to you. I'm not going to challenge you, but I know what's been said, and I love you and I forgive you. That may be what the other person is thinking. They're not making an issue, but that doesn't mean that they haven't picked up on it because
Of
we're
course. Yeah.
energetic. We pick up on this stuff. We're telepathic. We're multidimensional. That we're so much more than what people think. So yeah. So I think it'd be good just to assume that everyone is reading your mind and be that authentic and be that transparent and just know that they're going to know through your body language or through whatever. I think that would be a really good practice and just keeping you really honest and authentic.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree. And so how do you feel about channeling?
I love to channel, so I would be happy to channel.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
And
maybe
if you have a question, because I haven't got a topic, but if you want to give me a topic, or I can go into channel and you can ask me
yeah, let's
something.
do let's
Okay. Doesn't
I
take
guess
me long. I'm
we were gonna do both of us, but again, we were running out of time, so
oh, okay.
we'll have
Well,
to
I'll just close my eyes and prepare. And so I really just need a couple of breaths to prepare. So just 3 breaths. Okay, so just we are so happy to be here with you on this beautiful, glorious day. It's always a pleasure to be with you and a pleasure to be with the two of you and be your guest on your show. We are most honored and we are open to receive any questions that you might have for us.
okay.
So,
I got
what
one.
would you like to know?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got one that came right to mind that
Beautiful.
I guess everybody's to the list for the listeners. What advice do you have for the listeners or anybody watching this video in the future, um, or the present? Um, yeah, what advice could you give?
Well, the answer was in the very question. Do you know what the answer is? The word you used in the question itself is in the answer. In the present, to be present.
Mhm.
To be present is a skill that all of you can develop. It is not very hard. You can come into the present with 3 deep breaths, same as how we were accessed in order to be a guest on your show, with 3 breaths and dropping down into the heart. To be present, to slow down, to bring your awareness into the moment. Now, this will help you be just so conscious of everything that's going on around you. You will become aware of the thoughts that are playing in your head. You have so many thoughts every day. And so many of them are like old tapes running and running and running. And if you're just going about doing your business, doing whatever, not paying attention to what's going on between your ears, you will, without knowing it, you will be reinforcing these old, used up thoughts. But when you come into the moment and you become very present, doesn't matter what you are doing. If you could be washing dishes, you could be cleaning, you could be walking, you could be tending to a child or brushing their hair. It doesn't matter what is occupying you. Bring yourself fully into that moment and slow down and be present. Take it all in. So much rushing from moment to moment to moment. Why all the rushing? What are you rushing to? The beauty is in the present, but you run away from it. You run away and run into the future or run into the past. That's what's happening with your humanness, is reflecting on the past and guessing about the future. But your spirit is in the present, in the eternal now. You've heard it before. The now is all there is. You don't need anything more. Within the now, you're creating the future. So bringing your totality into the now, being with the present moment. Now, from there, you are creating a future that is going to be much more to your liking. Because when you come into your now, coming into your heart, recognizing that you are heart, mind, body, spirit, you are part of the whole, something so much larger than yourself, but also you are the container for all of that. You really don't need anything more. When you come into the present moment and you sit in the now, there's nothing you need. You have the air, you have your breath. What more do you need? And then you come into the next now moment. And then you might be inspired to have a drink of beautiful, blessed water, or take some other form of nourishment and send your blessings into that, and your appreciation to all who contributed to it being there readily available for you in this moment. Sending your love and let it shine out all around you in this moment. You are creating the next moment and the next. And your tomorrow, when you wake up, will have been constructed today in this moment. So that is our answer to you, is to be in the present. And it is a skill because it's a discipline to bring yourself back into it. Just bring yourself back. Bring yourself back. Using little tricks like when your numbers line up, when you have like the 333, the 111, whatever that number is, and it's an angel message, but it's also the opportunity to come into your heart, to come into the present. The present. Such a gift. And we love that it is called that. because it is a gift. And to be present to the present. It's the greatest gift of all that you can give yourself. So we would say, soak that up. Maybe listen to this again. Listen to this podcast again. Listen to this message from us. And once again, we are so honored to be here with you and to be sharing, and so pleased to have been invited in. And we hope to do so again. So all of our love, and all of you, give yourself credit for carving time out of your day to create this podcast, to listen to this podcast, whether you're listening now or you're listening in the future, is all the same. There is no, everything is now. So give yourself the love and the appreciation for having you brought yourself here, and give yourself the gift of the present.
I love it.
Thank you. Did you have any other thoughts?
No, perfect. Perfect
That
ending
feels like
to
a
it.
good wrapping up of all that we have talked about,
Mhm. Love
and that come out. Namaste. We love you so much.
it.
We are
Namaste.
enjoying your program. We are your biggest fans. We love you, and we are complete.
Thank you. It was amazing. It was beautiful, this whole episode, and it's 111 on the clock. And
Oh, no way.
yeah,
Well, so what do? We come back.
yeah,
We come
yeah, yeah. And
back.
so, I just look over and it's 111. And yeah, this was an amazing episode. Thank you again.
Thank you.
There's so much more to come. And if you haven't already, share, subscribe, comment, and like these videos,
Yeah,
share
and
them
let us
out.
know
Yeah,
how try some of these things that we're
yeah,
suggesting, and let us know how they're working for you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you might get a shout out on the air.
yeah, yeah, do
So
that.
if
Yeah.
you don't want to put, let us know if you don't want to be mentioned. We won't mention names. That forget I said that, but but just, yeah, we appreciate the feedback for sure. And it's just like, we would love to share an experience if you have an experience based on any of our, tips and tricks
Yeah.
that we're sharing.
Yeah, we both love to read the comments and
Yeah.
respond. And, yeah, I mean, this is how we create this new earth that all of us have been imagining. And thank you again,
Thank
Alexandria,
you.
for another
Yeah.
amazing episode. And,
Thank you. It's
you know,
wonderful as always.
till the next one.
And big love, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you
big
for
love.
watching, giving us this precious gift of your attention. And we're just so happy to be a part of your lives. So thanks for inviting us in.
Thank you. Over and out. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Bye for